How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading when the price is going up or down. Bitcoin and Ethereum flat as Fed issues consecutive interest rate hike. They're not really flat, but we did get an interest rate hike. So we went from 5% to 5.25% for a 25% increase. So this is the 10th month in a row since March 2022 that we have had an increase. An increase of 0.25% was widely expected with an 85% chance. So it wasn't too shocking. Instead of saying that ongoing interest rate increases will likely be needed, Powell said that some additional policy firming may be appropriate at the US Central Bank's previous FOMC meeting. And they kind of talked about pivoting away during this meeting too. So we may see no interest rate hikes soon. That's why we're seeing these assets pump. Because when risk on assets like Bitcoin and tech stocks go up when there's less uncertainty in the market. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wades further into crypto following anti-CBDC remarks. Democratic presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. came out swinging on behalf of the digital asset industry on Tuesday, criticizing what he called a war on crypto. Kennedy said that the FDIC and the SEC have no authority to wage an extra-legal war on crypto that leaves major banks as collateral damage. Referencing an article written by Alan Brown titled "How the War on Crypto Triggered a Banking Crisis," Kennedy said that Brown makes a strong case that the government-led campaign against the digital asset industry led to several historic bank failures in March, when all the while they were warning you, hey, crypto's gonna bring the banks down, when it turned out to be the inverse. So Ron DeSantis kind of echoes what Kennedy said. Ron DeSantis took a swing at US digital dollar today as he defended crypto as a whole, unveiling a series of state legislative proposals that would combat woke policies. DeSantis suggested that political opponents are pursuing the creation of a CBDC, which would be issued, backed, and tracked by the government. The danger of the digital currency is that they want to make it the sole currency, that they put everything in a central bank digital currency, he said. At a press conference titled "Government of Laws, Not Woke Politics," and was focused on a package of bills that oppose environmental, social, and governance, or ESG, policies. The legislative package blocks the use of ESG in all investment decisions at the state and local level in order to ensure that only financial factors are considered to maximize the return on an investment. It also bans the financial sector from considering so-called social credit scores in banking and lending practices, a practice some link to the social rating system in China. Another bill bans discriminating against customers for their religious, political, or social beliefs, and DeSantis says that examples of the latter include owning a firearm, securing the border, or increasing our energy independence, all things the GOP typically heavily campaigns on. So over on the charts, Bitcoin dominance is trying. Why did you do that? Bitcoin dominance is trying to inch up. It was going a little higher up, but it's kind of pulling away, not really gaining much more ground here. Our total market cap was trying to push up pretty strong, but really hasn't gone too far in retrospect of the last day. But this could be a bit of a bottoming pattern, so that could be good for us, because that could help push these altcoins further, which, if Bitcoin's going to continue this trend down, especially with this big bearish divergence, momentum heading down, stochastic falling, we could see a fall from Bitcoin into our altcoins finally. Stochastic is running up here, RSI is pointing up, momentum wants to make a bullish curl, VWAP wants to cross up, and our money flow wants to go up on the altcoins. This is altcoins except Ethereum and Bitcoin, so we could see a run up in some of these. Over on Bitcoin for the daily, we did bounce off this point of control, so that is a good move to get to the value area high. However, there's not much more room to go for that. Our RSI is trying to head up, but it's making lower highs. Same with the stochastics, so that's not too good for us here, as price is trying to get some newer highs, and Our RSI and stochastic are struggling to get past this range here. Our money flow wants to come up, momentum's kind of riding the neutral zone, trying to curl up, and our VWAP is trying to break that neutral zone as well. So the daily is trying to push forward. We are getting a reversal arrow, which signals that the previous trend could end. Well, the previous trend was slightly down, so that could signal slight up, but it's not always 100. So over on the 4 hour, we are trying to push up pretty well. We did break our golden pocket. Stochastic is heading up. RSI is heading up pretty well. VWAP's heading up. Momentum is getting a green dot and could head up. But our money flow is very weak here. We were very close earlier to getting a bearish cross. So that was one very concerning thing. The 2 hour, our money flow still is in the bearish zone and hasn't broken up. We do have a green dot that suggests we could get bullish action from here. Our RSI is somewhat rounding though, and our stochastic looks like it's doing the same. Momentum's coming up pretty high here with that white wave, and it could kind of form something more like this if we're not careful. Our VWAP is trying to head up, so that is good for us. But if everything else starts to curl off, then we could probably see that VWAP follow. Over on the 1 hour, our VWAP is curling off, momentum's curling off, stochastic and RSI are falling. Our money flow is slightly bullish, but not very bullish. And we have a red dot that's trying to print now. So if this red dot confirms, that could be further bearish action, especially with this money flow being so weak. You would expect this money flow to start to ramp up like it's trying to do, but it keeps getting slammed back down pretty quickly. So we're going to have to see if it can actually start to curl up and gain some momentum. Otherwise, we're at risk of just flopping back over. We took a look at our CME. We do have a huge gap now because of this run up. So it's likely we could fill this gap, at which point that would set us to fill this gap, at which point refer to last night's video. So I wouldn't be too optimistic here with these gaps we're forming. Usually the more gaps you fill, the easier it is to fill all your gaps at once and get some volatile action. Stochastic's starting to roll over, RSI's starting to roll over, momentum's starting to roll over, VWAP's making lower highs and rolling over, and our money flow is rejecting away over on graph here. So not looking too good. We're getting a red candle. This red candle here could signal that we have a top pattern, but if money moves from Bitcoin into our altcoins, this could get invalidated. This is on the 1 hour, so I wouldn't put too much weight on it. We'll go back to and start from the daily. We do have a bit of a bullish engulf, bit of that rounding pattern. Not quite a bullish engulfing candle because it had to come after this red candle. RSI is trying to head up, stochastic's trying to ramp up, our money flow is trying to break bullish, but not really having much luck right now. Momentum wants to curl up, so if we can continue some more green candles, we could invalidate this down channel's breakdown. At least the full breakdown of it, as we did get a breakdown. Our stochastic is trying to run up, RSI is trying to run up, we got a bit of a double bottom here that we're pretty much filling out. Our money flow is trying to come up, but it's starting to kind of curl away, so that's a little concerning. Our money flow, our momentum is trying to head up with a bullish divergence, but it looks like we could round off here, so I'd be a little cautionary. Our stochastic and RSI got a green dot that helped push them forward, but we are pretty overbought and we could start to roll over soon. Over on the 2 hour, we have a reversal arrow followed by a green dot that signals that the previous trend is going to end and we'll get bullish momentum. So usually you'll get a nice bullish breakout. Like right here, you got a decent bullish breakout, but right here you fell down pretty badly. So it's not 100% guaranteed. Our stochastic's starting to roll over, RSI is starting to roll over. Momentum's making a bullish divergence though, so that is good for our momentum. Our money flow is struggling to stay bullish. It's pretty well into the red zone, trying to curl up, but if it rejects away again, then that won't be too good. Our VWAP is falling away, and our momentum is trying to run up, but we're getting that white wave, kind of like here, so not really seeing any of the blue. Our RSI is starting to point down kind of aggressively as we switch over the 1 hour here. Stochastic's starting to point down, could get bearish cross. Momentum starting to curl over, VWAP's getting lower highs and overall falling. And our money flow, if I could get the words out, is rejecting away from this neutral zone, so that's not too good for us either. So on the 1 hour, looks like we could get some cool off, and this could be a bit of a top area here. Over on Anchor, on the daily, we are pushing up a little bit. We have a bit of a hammer candle. It is a long lower shadow candle though, so that could help push us forwards. RSI is starting to head up, Stochastic's starting to head up, money flow's starting to come up, VWAP's trying to come up, our momentum wants to come up, so we are trying to push forwards. We'll have to see if that can continue or not. So we did get pretty in between, about the middle of this value area low if you count where we wicked to. So that is pretty close to where I was warning about. It is likely if we start seeing some green candles in here, we'll get some more bullish momentum and snap away from it. Over on the 4 hour, Stochastic and RSI are trying to push up. Got somewhat of a double bottom here, slanted double bottom. Got bullish divergence as price is making lower lows and our momentum's making higher highs. And we are trying to curl with a green dot. Our money flow is overall falling though, so that's some cause for concern, and our RSI and Stochastic are trying to run, as well as our VWAP. So the 4 hour looks alright, but the money flow is starting to come out and kind of get weak, so that's not too good. Over on the 2 hour, money flow overall is in the red. Our momentum is getting that bullish divergence. Stochastic's trying to get a bit of a run up. Our RSI is getting a red dot here that could drag it down. Our VWAP is starting to roll over, so we're not looking too strong here. Over on the 1 hour, Stochastic's got a bearish cross that could confirm. RSI is pointing down with a red dot that could confirm. Our momentum's starting to curl over, VWAP's starting to curl over. Our money flow is starting to reject away from that neutral zone, so overall, the 1 hour looks like we're pretty set to get a bit of a drop here. Over on XRP, our Stochastic looks like we could get a bearish cross. RSI is starting to head down. VWAP starting to head down. Money flow struggling to get near that neutral zone. And our momentum's starting to roll over. This is on the 1 hour for XRP. So over on the daily, we have a doji dragonfly candle. This is not a very good candle for us. RSI is heading down, Stochastic's trying to head up, but our RSI is not very convinced that it has any strength at all. Money flow is struggling to stay above that neutral. VWAP struggling to stay in the zone it's in. It could start to fall away. Our momentum's starting to fall away, so not looking the strongest here, and we may get like a quick move out if we get some downwards volatility here. RSI is trying to push up, Stochastic's trying to run up. Our money flow is in the bearish zone, but trying to break that neutral zone, so if that can happen, that could be good and help the daily out, but we don't have very much time for that. Momentum's trying to curl up with a green dot, and VWAP's trying to run up, so the 4 hours looking like we could push up from here. We did kind of round off this support level, so we may get another touch up, and then we could fall back down after. Over on the 2 hour for XRP, Stochastic's running up, RSI is kind of falling flat, our VWAP's starting to curl out, money flow overall is inching outward, and our momentum is trying to come up with a double green dot, but it's starting to kind of curl away. Over on the 1 hour, Stochastic's getting close to getting a bearish cross, RSI is starting to point down with a red dot that did confirm. It's kind of counter to that reversal arrow. Our momentum's starting to taper away, VWAP's starting to taper away, and our money flow is in the red. So overall, everything's looking pretty red in the money flow, even though we're trying to get a little bit of a bullish pump here. Over on the daily on Algo, last but not least, we are trying to round up, kind of like everything else. Stochastic's trying to make a run up, RSI's trying to run up, money flow's trying to head up pretty good for considering how everything else is looking. Our VWAP's wishy-washy, and our momentum is overall heading up with a green dot, so that could confirm and help push us forwards. So this was a support level that we are kind of bouncing off. We did break kind of in between both support levels I was warning about. So money flow is in the bearish territory here on the 4 hour. It is trying to head up, but overall having troubles getting over that neutral zone. Our RSI is heading up, did have a green dot, but that could be pretty much all we got. Stochastic's trying to head up, but we're making higher highs with lower highs on our stochastic, so that's a bearish divergence that could bring us down, even though our momentum's trying to make bullish divergences that want to bring us up. So we've got a lot of confliction there. Over on the 2 hour, stochastic's looking like it could start to round. RSI is starting to get a red dot, and it's starting to kind of round here. Our money flow is struggling to get over that neutral zone. VWAP's starting to round off and taper out. Our momentum could curl off here, even though we have that bullish divergence, so not looking too strong here either. Stochastic's pretty close to getting a stochastic bearish cross that could happen. RSI is pointing down, momentum's starting to taper down. Our VWAP's starting to taper down, and our money flow is in the bullish territory, but it's gone pretty flat at 4, so not very strong. So we could just fall away. Everything's looking like the 1 hour could push away from here. We're gonna have to see if we can get some momentum in the next candle or two. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night.